What's going on, broskies? GG here, coming back at it with another video for you guys. And if this is your first time here, what's up? Smash that like and subscribe button because we be having a lot of fun around here. Today I want to get into one of the most hyped deck in my opinion for 2024, and that's going to be Flame Swordsman. All the cards just dropped for the new Millennia set. They got some crazy effects. I want to go into them, read them in details, try to figure out some potential plays, and let's figure out what potential this deck has and what it could possibly do. So it looks like Flame Swordsman got a lot of support, and I'm so hyped about this deck. I feel like there's so much talk going on about it, and there's so much support for it finally now after like so many years. One of the most OG deck. We know spellcasters and Blue Eyes always got the love and support, so I'm so hyped that this year is going to be the year of the Fire Nation, and Flame Swordsman is finally going to be one of the most competitive decks potentially, in my opinion. Going to the normal monsters, fusion, spells, and then traps. So this way we can have a full breakdown of the whole list. So first off, fighting Flame Swordsman. It looks like it's going to be a level 4 Fire Warrior, which means reinforcements of the army is going to be perfect actually for this. Talk about a throwback card for a throwback deck. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one spell or trap that mentions Flame Swordsman from your deck to your hand. So that's really good right off the bat because the card is a built-in searcher. So this may be the first #1 important card that you're going to be playing to set up all your boards. And the fact that it's a level 4, you can normal and special summon it, and you already have a built-in searcher, that already gives it a lot of potential. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Flame Swordsman or one monster that mentions it from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So this is a perfect effect for Foolish Burial, because if you want, you could pop this off, send this card to the graveyard, then send a card that you really need to get into the graveyard if the deck has supporting cards that activates from the graveyard, and then continue your plays going forward. So we're off to a great start. Level 4 normal summon, built-in searcher engine, and a secondary effect that pops off from the grave. So you have a lot of cards that can work in conjunction with this card alone. Alright, next is Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon. So we got a level 2 Fire Dragon normal monster. While this card is equipped to a Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it, it looks like it's going to be a theme with that, the equipped monster gains 700 attack. So this is such a good old school card. And when I mean old school, I'm talking about throwbacks to the warrior structure decks that we used to have those specific playstyles for. When you would equip cards to the warrior monsters to gain attack to make them such a strong beatstick monster. So you can only use each of the following effects of Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon, once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control as an equipped spell. If this card is sent to the grave, you can add one Salamandra, spell, or trap from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this, once again, works perfectly with Flame Swordsman, because now if Flame Swordsman is sent to the grave, this could potentially be summoned to the grave as well. It pops off, that means spells, and so that means you're searching 2 spells and traps at that point to your hand to potentially do whatever they do for the deck, we don't know yet. And then on top of that, whatever you potentially summon in the future, you can pop this off from the grave and equip it to that and gain 700 attack. So you're getting 2 searchers off of 2 cards. That's insane right there. The potential plays for that. Alright, now we're on to Mirage Swordsman. This card looks so dope compared to the old school artwork. I think they did it justice, and I am absolutely happy about this card. I always loved the original Mirage Swordsman card. I never really had much play with it in my old warrior deck, but it was such a dope card. I'm happy to see it finally coming back with plays. The first effect is debatable, because we need to see how fast we can establish a board of fusions to see if this effect's really going to be popping off and if it's going to be useful. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy both battling monsters. If this card is destroyed by battle or another card effect, you can special summon one level 7 or lower monster that is Flame Swordsman or mentions it from the deck or extra deck. The second effect is wild, because you can just bump to get over a high beat stick and then set up your plays. Since fire monsters love destroying themselves, we can already tell from Fire Kings. And the last effect is a perfect bonus to the second effect, because now you can summon a level 7 or lower that mentions Flame Swordsman from the deck or extra deck, and that opens up so much possibilities for your follow-up plays. I can see this card definitely being a key card in the deck. We just need to see what the rest of the cards hold to see how good this card is. Fighting Flame Dragon, the first fusion card that we're going to go over in this deck, and let's see what it's all about. Except during the damage step, quick effect, you can target one warrior fusion monster you control, equip this card from your field or graveyard to that monster you control as an equipped spell. You can only use this effect of Fighting Flame Dragon once per turn. While this card is equipped to Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it, the equipped monster gains 700 attack and can make a second attack during each battle phase. Holy shit, guys. I cannot stress this enough how legit they're making this deck to all the old school warrior decks. Like, this is what made the old school warrior decks what they were. And that was one of my all-time favorite and one of my first main decks when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play, because I absolutely love just equipping every single card I possibly could to monsters and make them insanely strong to get over anything on the board. And that's exactly what this deck is doing right now. I am so hyped about this. So it's an equip card, you gain 700 attack, but now you can attack twice. So this is the second equip card we got for the deck so far, where you're gonna gain 700 attack and you can attack twice. That is making the deck pretty spicy, and it's potentially looking like an OTK deck. Let's see. I am happy for this card, and it only takes one dragon monster plus one fire monster, so that should be pretty easy. Now we got the big daddy of them all, Ultimate Flame Swordsman, and golly, talk about the artwork on this card. Look how dope this card is. Like, this is what it means to have some badass artwork in your cards. I absolutely love how dope they made this card look. I don't know if I'm coping or I'm just really loving the Flame Swordsman deck, but tell me what you think. This artwork is sick. So it looks like a Flame Swordsman and Fighting Flame Dragon. Okay, definitely doable. You can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Okay, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So you have a built-in destruction and you're burning your opponent for 500 damage. But you know how we feel about the word targeting around here. I have a lot of mixed feelings about that, but I don't think it might be too much of an issue depending on what deck you're going to be going up against. But if you are able to pull off that targeting effect, you're getting to burn them for 500, which is a sweet bonus. This is a quick effect. If this card is equipped with an equipped card, very easy to do in this deck, we have already seen. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can double this card's attack until the end of this turn. But if you do, destroy it during the end phase of this turn. You can only use each effect, Ultimate Flame Swordsman, once per turn. Wow, okay, so we're talking about a 2800 attack monster that can double his attack, so that's gonna be 56, plus we can actually equip Fighting Flame Dragon to it, and Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon, so we're talking about an additional 700 each, so that's 56. So we're talking about a 7,000 attack monster. Now I'm seeing the OTK potential in this deck. That is absolutely what I love in every deck. All my decks I play are beatdown decks, and I already feel like I'm gonna be jumping into this deck because it has so much potential for that. And if this card is destroyed during the end phase, that means you can also pop off Mirage Swordsman as well. So if you potentially Foolish Burial Fighting Flame Swordsman, then you get a searcher from this, you send Mirage Swordsman, which you then get a searcher from this, and then pop Ultimate Flame Swordsman's effect, and when he gets destroyed at the end of the turn, you're gonna have Mirage on the field on the end phase. Is there any potential plays for Mirage on the end turn? We still have to see. On to the spells now of the deck. We're talking about Flame Swords Realm. That shit almost got me. I was about to say Flame Swordsman. I'm like, what? And they have... Alright, your boy's too hype. Let's get into this. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effect when you normal summon a Fire Warrior monster. Okay, That's good. That's giving you a little bit of like a safety net for you to summon your Flame Swordsman. Once per turn, you can send one monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to summon one Flame Swordsman from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can target one warrior monster you control until the end of this turn. It loses exactly 1000 attack, but all other monsters you control gains 1000 attack. So this card is actually pretty good. You know you can establish a safe summon, and you can bring out your fusion and build a wall of high beat sticks in a grind game and then finish them off next turn. So the potentials for this card is a good stall card to build a wall just in case if they think they can pop off a play. Alright, next is Salamander Fusion. Equipped only to a Fire Warrior monster, it gains another 700 attack. So now we're looking at about 7,700. Guys, 7,700. When was the last time we saw a monster that has a potential 7,700 attack? If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. Okay, so it has a built-in double protection. I like that. My old machine deck with Machina Gearframe did the same exact thing, so I already love this card. While this card is equipped to a fusion monster you control, you can send this card and one equipped monster to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon one Flame Swordsman or one fusion monster that mentions it from the extra deck, this card is treated as a fusion, blah blah. So you have a double protection with a high beat stick monster that has a built-in targeting destruction and a burn effect. I think that's looking pretty sweet so far. I feel like you're playing old school Yu-Gi-Oh with this deck and I absolutely love it. Now we're on to Fighting Flame Sword. Activate one of these effects. Okay, so just one. I'm surprised we have a 3 effect card, but add one card from your deck to your hand that mentions Flame Swordsman except Fighting Flame Swordsman. Guys, another searcher. So we're talking about potentially 5 searchers already in this deck. That is pretty dope. So this is going to be your monster searcher, which opens up the possibilities now. And on top of that, you have so many spells and trap searchers. So I'm not seeing any dead hands at this point for this deck, which is beautiful. When an attack is declared involving a Fire Warrior monster you control, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. So if you're going for that OTK play potentially, you can always use the second effect, destroy whatever's on the field, and you have your ultimate swordsman on the field as well. You can target, destroy, burn for 500, attack game directly for 7,700 potentially. OTK is looking really nice. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Flame Swordsman or a monsters that mentions it that you control, negate that effect. So we also have a built-in negate. What else do you need from this card? You have a built-in negate, you have a destruction, and you have a searcher. You have so much possibilities for this card. This deck seems like it has so much support already just from the cards that we read, and looks like we got 2 more cards to go. So let's see how more crazy this deck can get. Salamander with Chain. So it's like Kunai with Chain throwbacks. I like that. Target one fire monster on the field, equip this card to it as an equipped card that gives it 700 attack. Alright, let's do the math, big brain time. 700 plus 7,700 is 8,400, I think. My brain's too small for this math. But we're talking about a potentially 8,400 Ultimate Swordsman Fusion card. Let's go! 8,400 plus you're burning for 500, that's almost guaranteed OTK right there. Then you can change one effect monster on the field to face down defense position. Now notice it did not mention change one of your monsters. So I believe you can potentially change one effect monster from your opponent's field face down defense position. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one Fire Warrior or Dragon fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your hand, field, and or graveyard into the deck, but destroy it during your end phase. Okay, so you're setting up for a banish for fusion summon, which is really good to establish a good board there. We're talking about gaining 700 attack, and removing one of your opponent's cards that we don't need to worry about face down defense position in case it wants to pop off any effects. And then last but not least, Flame Swordsman. And it looks like we got Mirage in the picture there, looking dope as always. If a monster's is special summon one level 7 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck that is Flame Swordsman or mentions it, then you can change one face-up monster on the field to defense position. Okay, so pop this off, your opponent summons a XYZ, Synchro, Link, whatever it needs to be, even the first card that they need to pop off their plate. Pop this, special summon a level 7 or lower from the extra deck, flip that card face down, and just sit there and wait. That is a perfect combination right there, because now on summon you activate this, you might not even give them a chance to even pop any effects potentially, and this will shut them down from at least one combo line they can potentially take. During your opponent's battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, tribute one face down defense position monster, special summon one Flame Swordsman, or one monster that mentions it from the extra deck, from the deck or extra deck. You can only use, okay, so now if they did not do anything with that face down defense position card for whatever reason, now you can use it as material to banish and special summon one card from your deck or extra deck. That is beautiful, because now at this point we're using your opponent's monsters for material for your monsters, and we love doing that around here. So that looks like that's all the cards we have right now for the Flame Swordsman deck, and I am just absolutely hyped about this deck. I am going to be getting it and playing it as soon as I possibly can. The possibilities for this beatdown deck is insane. We're talking about Ultimate Flame Swordsman that has a nearly 10,000 attack, can target and destroy, burn for 500, attack twice, and put several cards face down defense position, on top of having destruction effects from other cards as well. And they're pretty easily searchable from your starter cards because you're able to pull into those spell cards very quickly. So this is a really, really good potential going second OTK deck or a going first beatdown deck to establish a board. Now we just need certain cards in this deck that we can splash in to have that built-in protection a little bit stronger, and this deck looks like it's gonna be really, really good. Alright broski, so that's all I got for you this time. That was my take on the new Flame Swordsman deck. Leave your comments below, let me know what you guys think, what you guys want to see next. Smash that subscribe and like button, and as always, I'll see you on the flip side.